The snow part of the storm, the big heavy snow belt, has left Erie County not to return. That the heavy snow is over throughout all Erie County. Very good news. We do have still some minor lake effect snow from Lake Ontario hitting southern Erie County. But it's going to be scattered snow squall, snow showers with very little accumulation. The National Weather Service told us just a few minutes ago that it will be less than an inch, but there will still be some scattered snow showers. It's just like a regular day in Buffalo. It's not going to, we're not going to have any more accumulations of snow. However, it will remain cold today and through tonight. Temperatures in the 20s and wind chills in the 0 range. Still very dangerous and still windy. Same advice, dress warm, be careful, and if you don't need to travel, don't. I'll get to the status of the driving bans shortly, but they're still in effect. So I want to go through what the forecast is for the rest of the several days with the weather. So from Friday through Saturday night, it's going to still be cold, but no snow, winds. Beginning Saturday night, we're going to begin to see the rains come in. And it will be rain, which means a warming will have occurred, and the warming will then continue into Sunday. But it will be raining. It will not be torrential rain. The National Weather Service is predicting that the rain over Saturday into Sunday, Monday morning, will be less than an inch, perhaps 3/4 of an inch, and some places less than that. The bad news is that the snow will continue to absorb the water until the temperatures get higher, and then it will begin to release the water in large amounts. That's mostly expected to occur late Sunday into Monday. Temperatures are going up into the 50s, perhaps 60, but at least high 50s, and will stay there. Even overnight, the temperature is not predicted to go below freezing. So we'll have a fairly rapid melt-off. So that is the next phase of our challenges for the community and for all of the workers. But it will get by and large, and for most people, it's going to get better and better. But there are flood predictions. Because of the unusual nature of this storm, there will be flooding, we expect, in places that do not normally experience it, and perhaps have not seen it in anyone's lifetime. People who have been here for long periods of time. It will not be giant flooding or giant fast-moving water in most instances in these locations. The National Weather Service is often calling it urban flooding. That doesn't mean the city of Buffalo. It means the built-up areas of the community. Storm drains will not be able to function because of the snowpack. Culverts and bridges will also perhaps not function as designed because of the snow and debris that's in them. Places that have normal basement flooding are likely to see it again, but other places that do not normally have it might also see it. We're urging people, to the extent that they can do so safely, to think about moving valuables out of their basements and put it in higher ground. This isn't going to be, we don't think, throughout the broad community, a place where houses are going to be fully flooded, but houses may be isolated by standing water. We expect there's going to be ponding. We expect that the culverts are going to fill, the underpasses are going to fill. This is going to be Monday and into Tuesday, mostly. More fully on Tuesday, the area creeks will begin to rise. Each creek has a different pattern to how it rises and the time it takes from when the water first hits it. Tonawanda Creek will be the slowest and will crest latest. The other area creeks will do so more rapidly. And people who have faced those challenges understand what they need to do to be safe. But it's not going to be a major flood according to the National Weather Service, but it will be flooding. someplace between minor to moderate flooding throughout the community. The real thing is when this starts, people have to be extremely careful. There will be standing water on the roads. The roads will not be draining as they normally would, and it could be in places where we don't normally see this. So throughout, be careful, stay alert, don't assume that the way things are before this storm, they will continue. Okay, on the situation with the roads, we're going to have a full briefing from all the communities at 7 in the morning. We know that there's been significant cleaning that's underway overnight, but we don't have a full panoply of reports as to the conditions, what's open, what's closed, and the progress overnight. We know it's happening, and we know that there's been a significant deployment of state resources starting last night and working all through overnight and into the morning. So the roads are going to be significantly better, but I don't have more information than that for you now. There'll be a briefing later, and I think we'll be able to tell you more. With regard to buildings, as the county executive reported last night, there have been building collapses throughout our community, some very significant, some less so. To the best of our knowledge, there have not been any actual injuries directly associated with the building collapse. There have been animals, farm animals, that have been injured, but there's no humans that we are aware of that have been directly injured. We know of 30 collapses that were reported to us overnight. These are major collapses. There's 2 to 3 times that many that have had minor collapses, and there's hundreds of buildings that are being observed as a precautionary measure, particularly the mobile homes. When the sun comes up and the crews can get out, the building inspectors in the communities, we fully expect that these numbers will increase, and perhaps significantly. But what we have now are 30 collapses throughout the community. Breaks down into 2 broad categories and then sort of miscellaneous. Farm buildings, not as heavily constructed, and flat-roofed buildings, often newer ones. There are some, that's not the whole group of them, but that's where most of them are. And we expect that pattern will continue. But as the rain comes and the weight on the roofs increases before the melt, there will certainly be more collapses. We're asking people to be very careful. If the house structure that they're in is behaving unusually, they hear cracks or groaning, or it seems like doors and windows that normally open don't any longer, get out and call for help. Don't stay and wait. And there's often a warning sign of a collapse. Often, if people are alert, they can hear things happening. Of the weight begins to press down on the houses and shifts begin to occur. As always, be safe. All right, here's the very sad news. There were 2 more deaths overnight. They were people from the Garden Gate nursing home who were evacuated, and they died during transport as they were being located not to the first staging area, but to a place that they would stay for a while. So they were going to other residential settings, and there were 2 elderly residents of Garden Gate, and they unfortunately passed away. We know that relocating people from nursing homes is a very tough thing to do, and that there are often bad outcomes from doing so. The relocation was done because the Cheektowaga building inspector fully believed the building was unsafe and the evacuation had to occur. But we know that it's hard on the elderly, and unfortunately 2 people have passed away. As always, we're not releasing names, but they were residents of the Garden Gate nursing home, and I was told that they were quite elderly. The driving bans remain in effect. There are